What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Summer Gravity, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, I got to give a quick shout out to Brave Tofu because I don't know why I'd never thought to do this, but Brave Tofu posted something on X recently about how he just essentially selected all of the SPS that was out there as a bid to rent, and came up with a total number that is currently in the system. Now, I forgot what it was when he did it, but I just did it today on the day that I'm recording this video, which is going to be the same day that I put it out, so whatever day this is released. And you can see here that it's 28.5 million SPS that is requesting to be rented, right? So people are trying to rent 28.5 million SPS. Now, I want to give some context to this, and I don't know the proper perspective to have, but I'm just kind of putting this out there for us to think about as a group. Because the thing is, 28.5 million, we have a little bit over 1 billion staked. This is close to like 3%. If I'm looking at the calculation here, 2.7% of all SPS is trying to be rented right now. Now, it's easy to look at that and dismiss it and say, oh, 2.7% is not that much, right? But I challenge you with this. This is 28.5 million SPS that is trying to get rented now, and nobody's filling these bids. Why is that the case? Well, probably because most of the people don't want to rent their SPS, which means that to a certain extent, and again, I don't know truly what it is, but like to a certain extent, I mean, people are happy with the amount of SPS that they have right now. And maybe happy isn't the right word, but they're strapped for the amount of SPS right now. They're not looking at this and saying, man, I have a ton of extra SPS that I am willing to just, rent out to somebody who wants to rent it, right? Even for just a 3.2% return. Because the thing is, there are diminishing returns on holding as much SPS from a reward standpoint, right? And you don't lose any of the rewards for, staking and all that if you delegate your SPS out. So really, the question then becomes, why is there a demand of, almost 3% of the staked supply out there that's not getting filled? Right? Like, I mean, some of this stuff is from a couple of days ago, right? You have one from 2 days ago here. Let's see if I can find the one for this go 6 days ago, right? And these are like 100,000. These are not small amounts. Like, I go through and with the extra SPS that I have, I do rent it out, right? And I don't know. To me, I find this fascinating. I find it actually very encouraging in many ways. Now, maybe you guys will read it the wrong way, but as I said previously, and let me go back to SPS here. We'll see if I win the battle. Probably not, because my win rate sucks. There you go. Let's go to SPS, and you can see here once again. Oh, I guess we lost it, but 28.5 million SPS. So. My thought process behind this is that if there is this much SPS, if there is the demand for this much SPS that is not getting met, when is the threshold? Like, what is the threshold in which people start to potentially buy that SPS? Or maybe even before that, when do we start to see the price, meaning the bid on SPS, go up? So how many people are out there bidding 0.002? Now, we've gotten into this a bunch of times. I'm not going to jump into, whether I agree or disagree in terms of whether we should add another decimal place to this and go 0.0001, right? Versus having to go and pay essentially double what the market price is right now. Again, if people want that, go lobby the team. I'm not going to get in your way. But my point is that when will we see the demand exceed what is currently available right now, right? What am I trying to say here? Like, when will we see the urge for that demand start to tick up a little bit, that we see it in the price action? And the thing that we can't really tell right now is how much of that demand is actually ticking up, because I'm sure anything that goes for 0.002 immediately gets wiped off the marketplace. In fact, I know that when I went through, I just had a small amount of SPS that I wanted to rent, and I didn't want to deal with waiting for the bid to be filled. So I went up to 0.002, right? It wasn't a large amount, only like tens of DEC or whatever it was, but I do think that is starting to happen. If I'm doing it, that I can't be the only one. And the question then becomes, okay, well, when do we start to see that en masse? When do we start to see it get to a point where that demand is now sitting here hours or maybe even days after, because people just don't want to part with their SPS, even from a rental standpoint. So I find that very interesting, especially in a time when SPS might become even more scarce if we put a lot more of it back into the DAO. Granted, you have to keep in mind that there is still a ton of SPS out there in the ecosystem that is technically liquid, right? So we have 1.04 billion staked. There's about 486 million that is liquid. So just keep that in mind as we move forward with this. So, but even still, either of these help SPS, whether it's on the rental side or whether it's on the demand side, because people are going out and buying the liquid SPS, right? That what's currently sitting in liquidity pools, and using that to fund their pack purchases. That's going to be an interesting position, right? Now, maybe the worst case scenario that we see is that people are sitting on the SPS that they have already. They don't want to rent it out for whatever reason, right? Or maybe they're renting it out and they're just going to put it away at the future, or use it to buy packs in the future. But I still think that this is going to be an interesting situation over the next couple of months here. Again, I'm not financial advice. I'm not saying we're going to the moon. I'm not saying anything like that. All I'm saying is that we are in an interesting position where we're seeing SPS demand rise significantly, even from a rental perspective. And I'm curious to see how that will play out as we get more use cases and potentially more demand uses for SPS. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.